Hello and welcome or welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Sean and I'm back for another video. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys a letter that was sent to me from one of you. Before I get into all of that, in case you're new to my channel, I've actually written 3 books. The first one's called The Dating Game, How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. My second book, Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart. And my third book, Getting Unstuck, How to Create the Life You've Always Wanted to Live. All 3 of my books will be linked below. They're all available on Amazon, Kindle, and BarnesandNoble.com. And I'm also a certified life and dating coach. If you want to work with me one-on-one, send me an email to itscoachshawn@gmail.com. That's itscoachshawn, S-H-A-W-N, @gmail.com. Now, without any further ado, let's get started with today's letter. Let's go get him. My boyfriend and I have been living together for 1.5 years. He and the mother of his child ended their relationship on good terms, but they text and FaceTime each other on a daily basis. He says it's all friendly and it's always about the son, who's now 2 years old. They live in another state and 2 times a year he goes over there to see the child and his parents. He assured me that he has no feelings for her anymore. I really can tell that he loves me by the way that he treats me, and I don't want to lose him. But the daily contact between them makes me very uncomfortable. He always puts her on speakerphone. That's a sign to me that he has nothing to hide, but I'm still not convinced. Sometimes when he shows me pictures that she had sent, I can see that they've been texting the whole day while he was at work. And sometimes when he gets home, the texting continues or she calls again, often to show him the baby. I once addressed her about it when he sent 3 photos of their son at the beach, including herself in a bikini. I found that very disrespectful. He totally defended her. I was disappointed with his reaction and felt that he was ignoring my feelings. Now I'm scared to say anything whenever she calls 2 times a day. Now that he knows that it bothers me, I now notice that he prefers talking to her when I'm not around. I need to tell you that once he contacted another ex of his, sending her pictures of himself and asking for pictures of her. And at one time we were visiting his parents, I found condoms in his travel bag. We talked about it and it is now in the past. But in 3 months he will be visiting the child again and I'm feeling lost, confused, not like I can trust him. I can't sleep, I'm moody, I'm not enjoying the intimacy like then, and I'm feeling very distant towards him. It's really sad, I must say, because we have really great chemistry and a great relationship. I really need your advice. So when I first started reading your letter, I couldn't understand why you sounded so insecure about the fact that he was trying to be a good father to his child. The child is 2 years old, so it's not like the child is a teen and can jump on his own cell phone and call his father back and forth directly without the mother's interference. The child is 2 years old. You can't even dial the dad's number. So of course the mother's gonna have to give updates about what's going on with flu shots and all this kind of stuff, especially when you go on to say that they live in a different state and that he only goes to see the child in person twice a year. Like, I understand why there is a need for this kind of contact, why he wants to FaceTime his child every day. He wants to make sure that even though he's long distance, the child still knows that he's the father and that he's trying to be there as much as he can. And of course, technology is the only way to do that, calling and FaceTiming and all of that. It wasn't until I got to the end of the letter when you started saying that you found condoms in his travel bag and he was reaching out to another ex asking for pictures of her, that's when I understood the basis for these feelings of insecurity for you. And I feel like he's largely responsible for that. And although I feel like he's tried to make up for that by making sure that when he talks to her, she's on speakerphone and you can hear it, you're making him more secretive, because even when it's on the up and up, you act like something's wrong with it. So now you're making it look worse, because now he's got to be in some corner when you're not around whispering and talking to her, and then it's going to make you more suspicious. I feel like if you can't truly forgive him for what you said we talked about it and it was okay when you found the condoms and all that. I don't know what that means, because it doesn't sound like you got over it and that you can trust him again. And if you can't, that's fine. I'm not saying that you have to. There's certain things that you can forgive, but you can't forget. And I feel like you cannot forget those things, and you're going to hold those things against him forever. And even though you go on to say, I want him to be a good father, but I don't feel like they need to talk every day, how else is he going to make sure that he's keeping up with his small child without calling every day? You said the child is healthy, so I don't see what the big deal is. He wants to make sure that his child, who's in another state, who only sees his dad twice a year. Imagine the memory of a 2-year-old only seeing his child twice a year, still knows he's his father. And I feel like for him, he's gonna need a woman that understands that, but he messed it up. This is not all on you. He messed it up by having these, little suspicious tendencies. What do you need condoms in your travel bag for? Why are you reaching out to an ex? He caused you to mistrust him. But now that you're here, what are you gonna do about it? If you feel like you can never get past it, I think it's your responsibility to let the relationship go. Ending the relationship may be the best solution if you'll never be able to trust him again, because he's tried to be open and it's still not enough. And then it's not healthy for you. You said you can't even sleep, you can't eat, it's got you moody. It's ruined the relationship. You don't have to be in this relationship. There's this quote that goes, give a man 10 women and he'll keep looking. Give a woman 10 men and she'll choose. It's like, especially with me doing these strawberry letters, I see that so often. So many times people say, I'm not even attracted to him, or I didn't even like this, or I didn't even like that. It's like, why do you feel like it's him or no one? Like, if you can't get past it, if you know dating somebody with the child is too much for you, not what you're interested in, it's okay to let him go. There are men out here who don't have children. What he did changed the relationship, and I'm not sure that it can be repaired. I feel like the relationship died when you found the condoms in his bag, and you've been trying to resuscitate it ever since, and you cannot, no matter what you can do, have been able to bring it back to life. The damage has been done. I don't think you ever got over that, and I don't think you ever can, unless you really want to, unless you're making a conscious effort to say, you know what, like you said, we talked about it and I forgive. But I feel like you're always gonna hold that against him, no matter how he's trying to be open. He's tried to make amends for what he did, but you're not willing to let that be. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to forgive him. You don't have to stay in this relationship if you don't want to. If you know in your heart you can never really get past that, then be the adult, be the bigger person, and end it. Despite the good chemistry you guys used to have and how great you guys used to be together, that's the moment the relationship died. Can it be resurrected? How do you feel about that? That question is not for me, it's for you. Do you think you'll ever be able to trust him again? Being a parent is a daily responsibility. And just because your boyfriend is in another state doesn't mean that he's not trying to be there for his child daily. And although you say, you know, the child is healthy, so I don't see what we need to talk about every day, he's trying to be a good father. And you say you don't want to interfere with that, but then you kind of do, because you're like, I don't see what he need to talk about every day because the child is healthy. The child still needs to know his father. And until the child is old enough where he can actually communicate with the dad on his own, call the dad on his own and all that, the mom's still gonna kind of be there as the go-between. It's like, you know you're dating a man with a child, but you don't want to know about it, you don't want to see it, you don't want it in your face. It's like, you gotta be realistic about your expectation. It's different. He's not even seeing the child every weekend and all that. This is as casual as a relationship with a child as you could possibly be. You probably don't even see the child but twice a year. So do you really want to date this man with this child or not? Because I feel like you don't want him to have anything to do with the child, but yet you say you don't want to interfere with it. You don't have to be with him. You're not stuck with this person, but you're asking him to change something that would make him less of a father. And I don't understand how you in clear conscience could do that. It's not like he's pushing up on the girl. You looking at text messages, you seeing him saying, hey, sexy, or hey, big head, or he's just talking to the girl about the child. They're trying to be mature as they co-parent a child in different states. It's not like you're seeing the child every day, not like the child lives with you, not like he's there every weekend, not like she's there every weekend. Literally, he only sees the child twice a year. How much of a parent will you allow him to be? He's done some things in the past, and if you don't want to forgive that, you don't have to. If you don't want to stay in a relationship with him, you don't have to. But it's not fair of you to expect him to be less of a father because his girlfriend wants him to be. I feel like, truthfully, you think he'd be perfect if it wasn't for the child. And once he realizes that's how you feel, he might be done with you. When he finally realizes that you don't want him to be as good a father as he's trying to be, you're almost kind of making him choose. Either have peace in this home by not talking to your son every day, or talk to your son every day and I'm going to be mad about it. I'm going to be moody. It's like, I think a part of the problem is you. Don't get me wrong, I'm not letting him off the hook at all. He's the one that gave you all these doubts. He put these insecurities on you by having the condoms in his travel bag, by reaching out to an ex. He did those things. Then he also tried to make amends for those things by being open and honest with you, and you still don't want it. If you can't forgive the man, then let him go. I don't think the relationship is beyond saving, but it can't be saved without a degree of compromise, especially on your part. If you don't want to see him talk to the child, hear him talk to the child, then you have to be okay with him calling when he's at work or calling when you're not around. But you can't dictate every aspect of his relationship with his son. You never want to come between a man and his child. Because at some point, he's going to resent you for that. The child's going to resent you for that. When the child finds out, the reason why my daddy wasn't calling me as much is because his girlfriend didn't want me to. Like, are you even prepared to be a stepmother? Because it doesn't sound like this is what you want in any way. You want him minus the child, but they're a package deal. I feel like you want to come in here and you want to separate it and you want it a la carte. You want to be able to pick and choose the parts of his life that you want and the parts of his life that you don't want. But they're a package deal. And even though you don't want to say that's what you're doing, that is to an extent what you're doing. Can you deal with it? And if you can't, save yourself from all of the years that you would spend looking over your shoulder and questioning him and doubting yourself and wondering. I feel like this has so little to do with them. This has a lot to do with you and you not being able to trust your man around anybody. He's made you doubt him. And now here she is, a woman who's always going to be around. So now all of a sudden she gets the brunt of all of it. It doesn't sound like you have any doubts about her. Your doubts are with him. Address those with him. Don't punish them for your man's mistakes. Do you realize that loving him also means that you would have to love his child? And are you prepared to do that? Because you wanting him to be less of a father or to take a step back in his child's life, it doesn't sound like you are. Realizing the effect that can have on his child when his dad's less in his life. Like, you're looking at your part of the picture, look at the bigger picture. Loving him means you have to love the child too. Are you willing to do that? Do you love the child? You've been in his life for a year and a half. It doesn't sound like you're trying to make any connection with the child. It doesn't sound like it sounds like you want him, but you don't want all of him. You're not realizing that they're a package deal. That's something that you have to consider. The son comes with the package. Do you want the complete package or not? You can't expect a man to be less in his child's life just to be more into yours. Look at what you're asking. It is an extremely selfish request. Be less in your son's life or I'm going to have a problem with it. If you love him, love all of him. And his son is a part of him. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Opinions are like belly buttons. Everybody has one. In this video, you heard mine. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on life and love, consider purchasing one of my books. As I mentioned, I've written 3. The first one, The Dating Game, How to Find Yourself While Looking for Mr. Right. My second book, Breaking the Man Code, The Key to Unlocking His Heart. And my third book, Getting Unstuck, How to Create the Life You've Always Wanted to Live. All 3 of them will be linked below. They're all available on Amazon, Kindle, and BarnesandNoble.com. And if you want to work with me one-on-one as your personal life and dating coach, send me an email at itscoachshawn@gmail.com. That's itscoachshawn, SHAWN, @gmail.com. That's also where you're going to send your letters for a chance to have it featured in my next relationship video. I love you guys. I'll see you all in the next one. Until next time, later divas and dudes. Deuces, honey.